Welcome to BNOW, where we discuss what is happening in and around Brampton. My name is Don McLeod. For this March 22nd, the month is flying by. Anyway, we're going to talk about a couple of developing things that just happened recently. And last week and the week before, we were talking about how basically 6 of the councillors got together. They said democracy was being assailed, blowtorch, Armageddon at City Hall, rules were being tossed out the window. They fired the CAO. They fired the human resource development person. Last week, they fired the integrity commissioner, and apparently, this is unsubstantiated, but we're still waiting for an official media release because we don't act on rumor. We want to know exactly what's going on, and we want to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to say. But apparently, more heads of department have been fired, which leads us into a major topic here. We're talking about CEO, major head of the company, HR development, another major head. We're talking about the integrity commissioner, which is involved in basically transparency and accountability. That's out the window. And then the 3 other people, 3 or 4 possibly, are going to be gone, are major heads of departments. This is a major problem from what I see. And it seems to be orchestrated by, if this is the new interim CEO, there's certain questions that have to be answered. Number one, what kind of authority does an interim CAO have to start firing heads of department, the IC commissioner, human resources? I mean, there's a whole bunch of connection here, because sooner or later, this council is going to be a lame duck council. Very shortly, when the writ is dropped, then they're going to be basically vying for their seats again in the next municipal election. And that means City Hall is run by the interim CAO. Paul Morrison is the interim CEO. He has no financial expertise. As far as I know, his resume was he was a police officer before, as well as being the head of bylaw. So I don't see where that fits him into a CEO, but that's just my take on it. Council seemed to be, let's say, they were happy, I guess, with the choice that they put in. But now, when you start to fire all sorts of different heads of departments, it raises a lot of questions. CEO, he's suing for $1 million. He wants $1 million in back pay at least. The HR director, we haven't heard from yet. The IC, you know there's a bunch of money because she wrote a confidential letter which was leaked to a blog stating that if they decide to fire her, she was going to actually launch a lawsuit. That is coming. And then these, you're going to see something going along in the same vein. If not, what is the severance package? Because this is major coin to the taxpayers of Brampton. You know, I see people complaining about $3,000 being spent here or X amount being spent here. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. It could be millions of dollars by the end, more than $1 million, because the CEO is suing for $1 million plus. So this is a major problem. I don't see where transparency and accountability is anywhere, shape, or form in here. Another question is, who is if it's the CAO is directing this and doing it on his own, does he have the authority? If he isn't doing it, and the 6 are actually behind the scenes telling him to fire people that were loyal to the last CAO, that's interference. That's not the council's decision, nor is it each individual councilor's decision to go behind the back and pick and choose people. That is the CEO of the company. Those are questions. I sent an email to Paul Morrison today asking him if he'd be on the show either next Tuesday or the Tuesday after to answer these questions, because as a taxpayer of Brampton for well over 35, close to 40 years in Brampton, I've never seen something like this happen. And there's answers that need to be, there's questions and there's answers as well. So, we're talking a major coin, like I said here before. The cost to the city regarding investment, I mean, there was a major investment that the Ryerson University is doing a medical school, bringing it into downtown core. If I'm a CEO of a company and I wanted to invest in Brampton and I see a total shakeup at City Hall across the board, I'm sort of backing away and saying, you know what, I think I'll see about investing in maybe Mississauga, where it's nice and quiet, things get done, and there's never any problems. To me, this is a major problem. I don't know if it is with anyone out there that's listening to me right now, but to me, this is a major problem. And I'd like to get answers to it because from what I see, from what I hear from the six, if every head of the department in the city was so bad for so long, this should have been brought out way before now. But I don't see it. I mean, we have a CEO that won awards. There's other department heads that were doing their job. I didn't see that it was doing so bad, but I mean, I'm not internally in there as well. But I'd like to hear an explanation of why. It seems to be they're taking a sword to every department head. And you know, and I know when we're dealing with public servants, once somebody gets that other position, nobody's taking a chance on anything. So you're looking at not only a lame duck council, but a lame duck city hall that is going to sit and wait and do nothing, not want to ripple the water or do anything until we're talking November. So this is a major problem. Like I'm looking at it as a major problem. Maybe I'm totally out to lunch, but I see it as a big problem. I'd like to hear what you think. You can always email me at don@citystudio.ca, or you can comment during the show. I'd love to hear about it. But as I said, I sent an email. We'll see what happens going forward because I think the residents of Brampton deserve answers. If the CEO is doing it on his own, I'd love to know why he's doing it at this point in time. If he's being directed by the 6 councillors that said that democracy was at stake, I'd like to know their take on why. So in the future, we're going to be covering that. Right now, joining me is Fazal Khan. Fazal, how you doing?
So that's some serious stuff you're talking about, Don. But I got something. I got a really important question.
Okay.
It's targeted to you. From what I understand, you just cost the taxpayers probably tens of thousands of dollars.
But it's called universal health care. I paid into it for close to 66 years. You know what I mean? Like I'm due. Right?
So your knee replacement was free, is what you're saying?
Well, that's what, we'll talk about what the NDP and the Liberals want to talk about pharmacare and dental as well. But yes, that's why we do what we do in Canada, and it's so important, right? So yes, I had a knee replacement. That was about 4 days ago. So I'm hobbling around.
And I'm sure everybody wants to know how you're doing.
Yeah, doing okay. I mean, first physio today and everything else. So it's one of those things that I guess as you run across things, it depends, I guess, on how hard you use your body over life. But 9 years in the Canadian Armed Forces does some damage to the knees as well. So,
So how much time did they give you on this new knee?
Normally they said it lasts anywhere from 20 something years plus. So.
Okay. All right. So we got you for another couple decades at least.
By the time I finish this knee, hopefully they'll have something like Star Trek with the tricorder and all that stuff that does it really, really quick.
No, they'll just be able to take your head and put it on like an Android body, right?
That might be a better option, to tell you the truth. It might be less painful. Anyway, yeah, it's it is what it is, right? So a lot of people have had it, so I'm not going to bitch and whine and complain. That's just the way life goes.
Okay, so there's lots going on in the city, but you have me on, which means I'm always the fill-in guest. So what are we talking about today?
Well, we're going to talk about, the boat race that got launched. And I know that they had an official gala at one of the banquet halls around town, and it's the launch of the boat race. Now, this is the annual Brampton Boat Race. We covered it in 2019, 2020, 21. It's a fun race. They're dragon boats. The dragon boats are rented from a company outside of Toronto, or actually just in Toronto. They're close to the border with Pickering, I think, if I remember correctly. But we raced last year. We put together a Brampton Focus team, or as a neighborhood watch team, city studio team, whatever you want to call it. It was stocked with interns, our yearly interns that we hire every year, which was a pitiful bunch. There was
this year, I was saying, Don, I might have to put down my camera because I'm the one that shoots the videos here and actually pick up the paddle.
Yeah, that's Team Mayor Brampton there. That's Pragmeet Sarkarian. He was racing with the Conservative boat. That's our we got the shot campaign. That was, I think that was that was a police team. They lost the boat race. That's the Liberals, Ruby Sahota, Kamel Kara. They were in their Liberal boat race.
Sonia Sadu.
Yeah, I think they beat the Conservatives.
What did the mayor call them this week? The Fortress.
The
GTA
Fortress.
Fortress.
Yeah. But you know what? It was a lot of fun. If you want to register, like you can register. If you got a team of, what is it, 11? Was it 11 people?
Well, hang on. Before you register, if you know how to paddle and you've been in a boat, maybe join our team because we
we need help.
We need some people.
Don't use the interns. The interns were there. They're like, high school students. Which way does the paddle go? I'm like, oh my God. Right.
Yeah. And I think one of them showed up like 2 minutes to spare. Right. So.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, but it is a lot of fun. I mean, it's something that only happens when we're talking to the race organizer. It only happens in Brampton, outside of the actual place over in India or Sri Lanka. I can't remember. It's like
Kara. Geez.
Yeah, I can't pronounce the.
It's bad done.
Yeah, I know. I'm terrible. But it's a lot of fun. You can come out if you're not participating. Actually, this year might be good because last year you had to have the masks on, and they had a whole bunch of different things, and there was a whole bunch of protocols. This year, obviously, with no mask mandate, it seems to be open. So you can go there and have a good time, see what
Kerala in India.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the only place that's being held outside of Kerala in India is Brampton.
Yeah, and actually, I think last year, Don, they didn't actually hold it in India. The only place in the world that did it was here in Brampton. So,
exactly, because of the COVID situation.
Yeah, and we love doing those videos because they get a lot of views from around the world.
Yeah, and it was it's fun. It'd be Highland dancing in no time.
Yeah. Nikki's back from vacation, clearly.
Yeah, Nikki's, yeah. Meanwhile, the rest of us are here working and slaving away. Nikki is like gallivanting in Mexico, having a great time.
She's still on vacation. She probably could still be on vacation, right?
No, she's back, unfortunately, in Brampton.
Yeah, we saw her with the premiere the other day. She's hobnobbing.
Yeah, she was hobnobbing with the big knob. That's right.
You said that, Don, not me.
Yeah, well, that's the way it goes. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, that boat race. They do a good job of organizing it. It's a lot of fun, and you get to see a whole bunch of teams and stuff like that. But it's I forget what we paid to enter it. Was it $200?
It wasn't much either. It was like $100, $200, and
it wasn't much. But they supply the boat, they supply the paddles, the life jackets. All you got to do is show up with your team and race. That's it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's always a great day. I think we've covered it for 3 years. It's August 20th, or that weekend is always nice. Yeah,
it's never rained. It's knock on wood. Thank you very much. But yeah, it's fun. It's like if nobody has actually come out and seen it, it's great to see, and it's a lot of fun.
So yes, Karen, we are putting a team together.
Karen, if you know how to row, we will take you in a heartbeat.
Or scream, because you got to scream if we get a lot of people in the boat. What do you got to? You were screaming, right, Don?
Well, they have the one that sits in the front of the boat. It's like the collar or whatever, the pounder. It's almost like those Roman Legion movies when you see the ramming speed sort of thing.
There's a whip. Is there a whip?
Hey, a whip would be a good motivator, right?
Okay.
I have kids. Yeah. The
kids can scream. Yeah.
Yeah, I can scream. Yeah. Well, you're married to Mike. Of course you can scream. All right, let's talk.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about masks. The mask mandate came off. Obviously, I haven't been out and around the public. And have you noticed a big difference? People wearing masks or not wearing masks?
Actually, I went to a funeral today. It was a Muslim funeral, and it was like old times almost. People were wearing masks, but I haven't been into a mosque for 2 years, and this is the first time I was in there. I was in the prayer hall. And other than everybody was wearing their mask, it just seemed like old times, right? There was no limits to anything, capacity. Nobody was distancing. I had my double mask on, so I'm protecting myself and others. But if I'm going to get COVID, that would have been the place I would have gotten it. I haven't gotten COVID. That was the first time I was in a gathering that large in 2 years. So we'll see what happens.
Well, it'll be interesting, like I don't have kids either. So, I mean, I know that I saw on Twitter, Facebook, people were talking about how kids came back and they were all wearing the masks, right? Even in the school, right? So some people are smarter than others. Some kids are smarter than others. I guess it's, for them, it's a precaution as well.
Yeah, 95% of us, I think, are law-abiding, rule-following. We want to do our part. The other 5%, thinks everybody's out to get them and to take away their freedom.
Well, some people don't deserve freedom. That's the other thing.
Well, you're locked up for 6 weeks, right? So that's good. Nobody's going to see you for 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be like the groundhog. 6 more weeks of winter for me, basically, right? I got no choice, right?
So I think I hear there's another variant going around. I think China just closed China Disney or Shanghai Disney World. So I know people don't want to hear that, but let's see where this goes.
I think once you let the horse out of the barn, it's hard to get back in.
Yeah.
Especially when you're coming up to summertime, the vacations. I mean, the federal government is dropping the return PCR test. That's April 1st. That's not a joke, I hope, but that's the whole thing. Which, in my mind, if you're double vaccinated, why you need a PCR test coming back, right? So, we followed the rules for 2 years. Obviously science changes. Yes, I get it, but at the same time, there's risk mitigation in everything across the board. I remember going to school in my time, and measles and mumps was the big thing, right? And you had to deal with that on a regular basis. Then polio before that. So disease is something that we're actually pretty good. I mean, if you're living in the 1400s in Europe, you're talking about bubonic plague and wiping out half the population. So for us, I mean, we have the ability for science and everything else. Science is there. It's to be used like anything else, but we'll see how the masks go. It'll be interesting going into the summertime.
Yep. Okay. And our last topic is national politics. So there's a lot happening. I thought this was going to be such a slow year on the national scene, but even today, what do you think about the Liberals and the NDP joining together to...
Well, as you know, we covered Patrick Brown. Mayor Patrick Brown is running for the Conservative leadership along with Pierre Poilievre. What do they have in now? Leswin Lewis has entered the race. Who else has entered the race?
Charest.
Jean Charest. Who else? There was another guy.
I don't know the other guys.
Made a terrible video. I'm like, geez. The one thing about politicians is, this gets
Let's
me
not
and you.
talk, Don, about terrible videos because I got one out there myself. So
no, but we talk about this all the time. We take a look at politicians, how they make videos, and we say that is a terrible video. It's the wrong message, the wrong lighting, the sound is terrible, the background is terrible. And you take a look at these people, and they want to be leader of the party and everything else. And you take a look and say they can't even they must have people around them saying, "Yeah, that looks like a great video," when it's not a great video, just because.
Well, I think at the level of most of these candidates, or all of them, they don't have those people around them. It's when they get into government, then the taxpayers paying for those people to, make. But when they're candidates, like we see at the municipal level, like people try to make videos and they're terrible. What's the point of doing it? So,
well, the point is, a lot of them take a look at it and they think they can do it. It's just like anything else. It's a craft. I mean, you can't pick up a camera and start taking pictures like Ansel Adams. I'm sorry, it just doesn't happen. You have to, there's lighting, there's sound, there's this and that. It's terrible. Some of these things.
The Conservative Party especially seems to make really bad videos. There's a few that come to mind. The Kelly Leach video. Was it Kelly Leach? Is that her name?
Yeah, it was Kelly Leach. Yeah.
Yeah. Aaron O'Toole. When you try to do the walk and talk videos, you don't start walking until after the camera starts. That right away is bad, right? You should be walking, or whoever's editing that video. It looks like you're just putting on a show when you do things like that.
Well, the message has got to be concise too. I know Pierre Poilievre put out a video of a guy. What is he talking about? Losing his freedoms over it was a video shot in a what is it, a bar or restaurant? Some guy talking. The background was dark, not lit enough. Talking about losing his freedoms over the two. What freedoms did he lose? He didn't mention what freedoms he lost. Didn't mention a whole different. It was just rambling. It's like, what's the message here?
Yeah. Right? Or you can take Jagmeet's strategy and just go and do TikTok videos.
Yeah, and then you get basically shredded because all it is a TikTok video. You're in that category as not being serious. It's like, okay, do your TikTok videos, but talking about Jagmeet, I mean, he's entered into agreement theoretically with Justin Trudeau today to keep into power till 2025. It can go either way, right? I mean, at any point in time, a coalition can dissolve over the littlest of things. So, if I was a conservative, I wouldn't be making a big hooply-doo about it, because basically there have been coalitions in the past between conservatives and Bloc, different organizations and different parties across, Parliament. It's not unusual. That happens in a democracy. You can form coalitions.
What do you think of Mayor Brown's campaign so far?
I think it could ramp it up. I mean, you and I talked about it, in regards to Pierre Poilievre. I mean, he's out there doing all sorts of videos and stuff like that. They aren't, what I would call effective, because there's more questions and answers in regards to them, and there seems to be more fluff. The sky is falling Chicken Little videos only work so far. You want a little bit of substance. It's like, okay, fine. Oil and gas, blah blah blah. The sky is falling. Our freedoms are being taken away. Yeah, okay.
Well, you got to credit Poilievre. Is that how you say his name? How do you say his name?
Poilievre.
That's half of his problem. I still don't know how to say his name properly. PP.
You call him PP. Yeah, that's not a good. That's not a good nickname for him.
No, but I'll call him PP. He does do enough videos that he gets noticed, right? If you look at we look at view counts and likes and retweets and shares and all that kind of stuff, way higher than anybody else. Jean Charest just created a Twitter account, although he has 16,000 followers, which is about a quarter of Mayor Brown. Mayor Brown is about a quarter of PP.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, again, it's like, to me, I look at substance rather than, all the flash that goes with it. I mean, if you're coming at me with some sort of logical statement, okay, fine, but make it brief. I don't want to hear a 15-minute video, you talking about your plans and everything. Send me to your website where all the plans are, and then you can have different videos talking about healthcare, pharmacare, dental care, what I'm going to do for infrastructure. Send me to your platform, right? Don't try to. Politicians putting a video together for 13 minutes and putting it up on Twitter or Facebook for you to. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to sit there, and nobody else is going to sit there for 15 minutes and listen to a video. My suggestion for Patrick would be like, here's, I have a whole bunch of different views on healthcare that I think we can improve in Canada. The dental care you want to do, I don't know, whatever you want to do, right? Seniors care, dental care, pharmacare.
Short, natural videos, not these scripted.
Right, and it's like, go to my website here. All the details are there. If you got any questions, you can always email me. Boom, that's it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It's early on. It's week number 2 in his campaign. Pierre Poilievre is still the front runner, and nothing's changed. So,
well, he's a front runner according to several pundits, but I mean, there's an old political adage. It's like, you don't count the votes, or you don't count the polls or listen to the polls until the voting is over, right? Because the pollsters have been wrong in the last 2 elections, big time.
And this is all about signing up memberships, right? No, it's not a poll. So who can you get out to buy a membership and come out and vote for you?
Yeah, so I mean, the coalition that they did with like I said before, coalitions have been come and gone. I mean, there was a time in Quebec when coalitions made a deal with René Lévesque, Parti Québécois, when Quebec wanted to separate. So deals have been made in the past. Deals have been broken. It's not something that I take a hard look at and say, oh, well, democracy is under siege here. It's like, it's happened. That's the way our parliamentary system works. It can happen. What are you going to do to destroy it, right? I mean, they got to come out with a platform that many people take a look at and say, okay, well, even Jagmeet and Justin Trudeau are aligned together. Yeah, this guy over here gives me a lot better opportunity or a lot better ideas than these two together. So, you got to come up with a platform. You just can't say, it's unfair. That's just the way the parliamentary system works in Canada.
Well, do you have to come up with a platform for the leadership? Because
no, but I'm just saying, whoever becomes the leader of the Conservative Party to fight that coalition, that's what they have to come up with, right? They have to come up with a better mousetrap, something that basically counters Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh. I mean, Jagmeet Singh, you tell me what he's actually brought to the table. other than aligning himself with Trudeau on a regular basis.
He's going to bring in free dental. And I spoke to
No.
my mom
What
today,
has he
right?
already
She's excited
brought?
by this. And I said, she's probably not the one that's going to benefit. It'll probably be me benefiting 10, 20 years from now, right? It's not happening anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's, we've heard the pharmacare. Listen, what did the Liberals say in the last election? What did they say about pharmacare that they were going to do?
No idea.
They said they were going to bring it in.
Yeah,
and they didn't.
Now Brampton Jugmeat is bringing it in.
They were going to bring first past.
Oh, by the way, Don, I was thinking, I'm thinking I'm the only one that thought about this. If Patrick Brown wins the Conservative leadership, 2 out of the 3 main parties in Canada will have their leader with strong ties to Brampton. Unbelievable.
Yeah, which maybe we'll get some infrastructure dollars, a second or third hospital, maybe a fourth.
Maybe.
Maybe an LRT coming
No,
up.
maybe.
Maybe
There's
something,
no maybe.
right? But that's the whole thing. And it's the Liberals promised a whole bunch of stuff.
We're going to get a subway that'll go around the whole city.
I'm thinking somebody wanted to build a monorail around the city. That was the other option.
Ferris wheels.
Yeah, big Ferris wheel where,
Circus.
Yeah, circus would be good. We got a lot of clowns in Brampton, that's for sure.
Okay, Don. So we got news regarding we normally have the mayor on at the end of every month. What's the update on that?
Yeah, we do. And normally at the end of every month and the end of every Tuesday, we talk to Mayor Brown about what's going on in the city. That is no longer going to happen because obviously he's running for the Conservative Party leadership. So he doesn't want to actually, cross borders, I guess. So going forward, which is going to be our Tuesday with myself, guest, you, anyone else who wants to come on the show and talk about what's going on in Brampton. All you got to do is email me with a topic and say, I'd like to talk about this and come on the show. That's as easy as it gets.
And the municipal election, actually the provincial election is already, I guess, underway, but the municipal election is starting sometime in May as well. So we'll probably have a lot of people coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of people coming out of the woodwork like you do every election, whether it be for, provincial, municipal, or federal. People you never heard of who are classified as community leaders, and you don't know what they're leading and which community they're in because some of them don't even live in the community. So it'll be interesting. Obviously, going forward, there's a lot of people going to be partaking of that. We'll cover it. I mean, we'll cover what we can. I mean, we're not out there. We're not going to cover every candidate. You're going to have, 16 candidates per riding, per regional, municipal. It's like, it just gets too convoluted and they say the same thing over and over. We know how it goes down. So we'll be doing something absolutely for sure. What it is at this point in time, we'll see how things shake out. But we have a few ideas going forward.
And this will be our third municipal election that you and I have been involved in. So the first time around, you ran, I dropped out. Second time around, 2018, we didn't run. Are you running again this year, Don?
I can't run. I got my knee.
Are you putting your name on the ballot, Don?
No.
Okay.
No, you know what? The thing is about municipal politics, it's probably the purest politics, is you don't have to follow a party line, right? You don't have to fall in line. If you're running in a provincial or a federal level, you have to follow the party line. You can't step outside the boundaries. You talk to one candidate, you might as well be talking to all the candidates. They're going to say exactly the same thing. It doesn't make a difference, right? You're not getting the true character of the individual. Municipal politics, okay, fine. You're going to get some characters, on the left, on the right, on the loony, right? You're going to get them all. It doesn't make a difference. And they've got their own ideas of what they want to do and how they want to change the system, how they want to change the city. It's a little bit more pure. At some point in time, though, I mean, you do get people that, they take themselves way too seriously and think that basically, they're the end all and be all. And just because they do this and this and this, that, there should be some sort of kudos. We covered a lot of people over that time frame, covered a lot of topics.
Yep.
We spent a lot of time and money out of our own pocket covering it because we know we don't have any coverage here in Brampton. When it comes time to municipal elections, Global, CBC, CTV, they're not going to concentrate anything on Brampton. Never have, never will.
Okay, Don, we're almost at that 30-minute mark. We will see you next week. Bye, everybody.
See you later. Thanks.